Give me a really bad one.
This is one they took the V's off the the teeth.
All right, really bad. This does nothing. I'm putting side pressure. This is terrible. It's awful. Let me give it a little more tension on this.
Yeah, I was doing training yesterday with clay, and we pulled that one out, and we got into it, and we're like, no, I'm gonna leave that one alone.
This has everything wrong with it, and
everything that could go wrong with it.
You can pass this around. The blade's been really sharpened quite a bit. When you look at the inside, the hone line hits the front and the back of the blade. Let's see what's going on here. Oh my gosh, the inside hone is all crazy and wonky and wide.
I'm thinking that might be a walk away.
No, we can do that. We'll make a cut. Oh yeah, we're gonna make a cut. Sure, everybody look at that one. Is this the other one that was bad?
No, that was a show and tell. Any of them with the tags on them are the ones that it's a beauty supply sent it to me, and whoever sharpened them last time really messed them up.
Okay. Here's another one we can pass around. And there are V notches in there.
I don't know who the sharpener is in that area, but he messed up all those shears.
Okay. You know, sometimes the V notch, you know, if you grind a little bit, what are you gonna do? I mean, you got to put an edge on here. So here I am, simple. I have 2 pads here, stone, boom, done. This is jungle warfare right here. I'm gonna take this. I'm taking
like a mash unit, huh?
this. Look at it. Well, I put a lot of pressure on there, but it doesn't need pressure. You gotta make it nice. So I'm gonna take this apart. Some of these UFO ones, and let me tell you, I do not like this UFO. Anytime you have to use a tool, take something apart, it's awful. Don't like. I like adjusting screws.
Really?
I'm old school. Some people say it gets in the way, but most stylists lose this. They don't know the tension correctly, but you know, it's necessary evil. That's majority shears come with these.
Y'all never made any UFO ones, did you?
No, back in the day, no. No, just always clicker plate, old school. I'm taking the shear. I always start the saddle blade first. I look up, and this, what I don't like about this, it's got a nice bow to it, but it's very flat here, and it's super bowl the back. So what happens, it's not meeting. It's not meeting. It hits here, but not by the screw. So what's going to happen when I hone it is it's not going to want to hone. It's going to want to skip this very first part because it hits here in the tip, but there's nothing. There's no compression. And if we were close, I can do a quick hone. Let's see what happens. Yeah, you can see it's honing here, skipping, and going from the middle. I don't know if this camera can show it.
So you can see it, there's nothing there.
And I use 1,000 grit stone. Now, people will argue right, left, and center between using 1,000, a 3,000, and a 6,000. Now, old school thought, my brother, he uses 1,000 all the time because he says, you know what? A flat hone, a hone is a hone is a hone, and even if it's not super shiny, it gives almost like a serration, and it cuts well. Other people do 1,000, follow up with a 3,000, which still cuts, makes it shinier. That's what I like to do with beauty shears. And then other people go, well, then I do a 6,000. But here's what happens. After a 6,000, no offense if you sell 6,000, it does nothing anymore. If anything, it dulls it. It doesn't have any cutting properties whatsoever. 1,000 does, a 3,000 does, a 6,000, it's just, forget it. I'm totally, it's no good. But that's just the way I do it. If Uwe were here, he'd just use 1,000. And when I use blending shears, you only need 1,000. But I like to go from 1,000 on beauty shears to 3,000. With this one, because I have 1,000, I'm just gonna try to bully through it and get that inside hone done. I'm just going to focus
And
on.
the other thing, 1,000 from one brand of water stone is different than another one. I mean, you can get a Chinese one that's 8,000 and it'll feel rougher than a 1,000.
All right, you can.
It's not always comparing apples to apples.
All right, I got through it. Nice and aggressive.
Is that a natural stone or?
This is a diamond. This is a diamond. All right, this has a beautiful hone on there. I would pass it around, but you just have to believe me. Just, it's a beautiful ride line. The hone is awesome. And you can feel the burrs kicked up all the way through. Very, very nice. Now I go, and I'm just gonna look at the tooth. The tooth is nice. It's got a little tension. Very nice, very good. This is actually a nice shear. I'm gonna just do it normal. Pressure in the back. I never want to put pressure everywhere down because you don't want to wipe out the tips. Always first work the back, take a look at it, and that's pretty good. You get a little more pressure. Awesome.
I bet you're not lifting up in the back.
Pardon me?
You're not lifting it.
No, not yet. I'm doing flat. I want flat, flat, flat because I want to have everything nice and sharp. And then once I do that, now I'm going to put the little negative. I'm going to just tilt it up a little bit. Bring it back. That's all you need. Boom, done. Go. I almost turned this on. This would have been flying somebody's face. Jeez.
Thanks for not taking my head off.
I normally like to use a jig, but I don't have a jig. So, no. Another thing about using Velcro, the tendency is when you go across, if you don't stop about a 1/4 inch, your edge is going to go whoop. And I always call that amateur hour. And that's when I'm plate on steel, I just love to have just a clean boom, nice edge. And you can see this person, whoever it was a little roundy. I cannot stand around. I want a nice clean edge. I don't think I'll get it with this Velcro. Nah, not to cheat. All right, looks good. Cosmetically looks good. Edged it. I'm gonna hone it again. I have a burr. I put it. I go back first, take the burr off. And now I go back and I put pressure again forward. First on the back. So I'm not doing anything at the tip. Look, you can see, maybe put a little more pressure on the tip. It's a great hone. I can feel it, I can see it. It's a very lovely, I mean, yeah, I guess you could pass this around just to see how nice that hone is. From the ride line all the way forward.
Question.
Yeah.
What is approximately the maximum steepest angle you would put on your finger? On the cutting blade?
You know, generally you don't want that steep of angle. It's almost like a bandage cutter because it'll bite in the edge. It just depends on the type of shear, what it can handle. And sometimes they've been abused and you have to kind of work with what you have. So it's kind of a loaded question, I guess.
But you don't want to get up in the 40s or 45?
No.
You want to be what, 30, 35?
Yeah, about 30, 35, yeah. And, you know, it's funny, on my jig I have where I see where it is, the number, and I should have looked at what the angle is, but in my mind it's just, that's the angle I want. And even with my, doing it by hand, I kind of feel the angle. That nice hone? So we honed it flat, put a little negative on there. This one, they've edged it before. I'm just gonna follow what they did. This is flatter than I would like.
Are you putting a little bit of negative on the teeth?
Pardon me?
I can't see what you're. Are you putting the negative, a little negative on the teeth?
No, right now I'm just put a edge on the blade.
Oh, okay.
I'm just edging
Put
it.
the negative, where does that go exactly?
The negative is when you're honing it
Yeah.
and then you're lifting. So it's flat.
Okay.
It's flat here, but then when I lift it, I'm putting that negative this way.
Okay, I understand.
And later on, I'll have you do it yourself, and you can really see it. You know, you can
Thank
feel
you.
it and see it. Might take me a few swipes because I'm not happy. You can see the old angle versus the angle I want to put on there. You have to open it up, and you can see where. Can you see where I haven't gotten through yet because that angle is just too flat. They had a V in it, but somebody wanted to edge it, which is fine. You just have to be light. Normally, whenever you touch the edge, you just want to just touch it and not bear down because all the work is done on the inside. No matter what you do, whether you do a full convex, if you're bevel bob, you just want to gently touch the outside. All the work is done on the inside. Unless you have a big nick, then you've got to take that nick out. But generally, even if it's a little nick, I try to work everything on the inside. When it shear dulls, it dulls on the inside. And then you just gently touch the outside, which I'm being gentle with this one as well.
Featherweight.
Yeah. It looks like I'm doing a lot, but I'm not. And I always prefer jig, but I'm doing it by hand. All right, so now I created the burr. The burr's kicked up. I take my cheater stick. Is there a magic angle? No, there's not a magic angle. I just put a little angle just across. There's no magic. The magic is that you don't have too much of a negative line. We're gonna take this POS, take this apart. Wow. This is a good one. All right, thank you. All right, this one, what did I do? I edged it, I honed it. I have to deburr this. Again, the solid blade, I looked, it was a good set. I honed it, I edged it, I honed it again, and now I'm gonna deburr it. And again, I don't have my wheel spinning crazy fast. It's not necessary. All right, deburred it, it feels nice. This one I honed it, negative, edged it, cheater stick. Now I'm gonna put it together.
So do you just automatically, all these blenders and thinners, you negative hone them?
Oh, all of them. Unless it's
Without even checking them first?
well, no, you gotta check. I mean, if it's a really garbage one, then I won't. If it's a German style, I'll just use maybe just a cheater stick.
Oh, okay.
Just because you want to get that burr off, but it doesn't have that extreme angle. I just kicked the washer out because I hate the washers that are in there. And similar to clipper blades, a lot of people put a new guide on there, different colors. I know they did it, or just for insurance. Isn't that right? Jason put one on there just because it looks nice, it's clean, you know it's fresh. So I like to put in a fresh washer. And my case got dropped on the floor and I just threw everything in there. But I know what to look for. And what's nice about these washers, you know you got a nice fresh washer. When you push it, it springs back and forth. And again, a good washer is like a car spring. If you got a shitty car, like, oh, you're clumping, like, the ride's terrible. You got a shitty car with good springs, oh, yeah, this is all right. Same thing with a washer. I'm getting close. Be careful. I'm gonna clean this up. Get the grit off. Careful when I close it. Put it together. Another thing for the newbies, when you have these crazy little things where you have to use a tool and you have this washer, you have to make sure that the hardware doesn't stick out too far, because when you put this lock washer in there, it'll sink too far and you'll bottom out. There's not enough tension. And later on, when I have hands-on, I can show you. And this one looks pretty good, but you can either put another washer in the back or put one washer, put another one in there just to raise it up so it's beyond the post. And I think this one's fine. And actually, this is a pretty nice shear. So I'm not saying that to say it. It's a pretty nice shear. Or blender, sorry. The vernacular.
Is that the Sam Villa?
Yeah, Sam Villa, yeah.
They're decent shears.
They're decent shears. Sam Villa is the problem they have on their shears is they hit back hard in the ride and they just have a nasty curvature and they're really hard. You can do everything you want to bend it and you can't do anything. You just gotta live with it and work with what you have. So,
Cast shears.
pardon me?
The Sam Villa's typically a cast.
I don't know. They're hard as hell though, and I don't want to put a hammer on it. I don't want to bend them. So I open and close them. Feels pretty good. But what I did not do yet, I have to go across to get that burr back. And feels pretty. I feel a little tension right there, but not too bad. Another thing, when you do it, sometimes you'll run your finger crossed. You can feel the burr from cutting off the other side. So I'll just take it, run it across. Just come on. You know it's gonna happen.
Losing a tag.
Just gonna keep that burr off. Gonna clean it. Now we're gonna hope that this cuts. We're gonna pray to the gods.
Me too, because it belongs to my customer.
All right, I'm gonna look. The top tooth blade goes beyond the hone line of the tip. Very nice. And I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna get a little tighter. And I always like to tighten these up a little more. Cut, pull. It's like butter. Boom. And this is tough material. Another thing you want to test, if somebody puts a lot of pressure on there, I'm not going to mess with it. It feels good. Now I can make it even more quiet. They cut great, but you can still hear it. Just because, yeah. So I'm going to.
That one needs a finger rest.
I've already proven that it cuts. What I'm going to do is I'm going to be a little more aggressive with the negative hone. And I don't know if anybody can you hear it? All right, so we're gonna make it nice and quiet. I'm just gonna be more aggressive with the negative hone. All right, so I'm gonna go negative. Just gonna do a couple more passes. I'm gonna make it nice, quiet. I'm going to put another edge on there. This Velcro, I call it cheating because it hides any errors. When I have steel and pad, sometimes you can see different angles and you got to be really precise, but this kind of helps you cheat.
Trying to keep it simple, keep it easy.
Yeah. All right, I got the burr up. I'm gonna do a little cheater stick, off, goes on height, put it together. Here. Okay. You can see how quick this is. It's so much easier doing the shear. You're not worrying, is it pushing here? It's all subjective. This is not subjective. This is much different, yeah.
But do they still cut?
We shall see. Oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't go across because they wouldn't have. You can feel the burr right now because I did a negative. I want to kick that burr back again. Is there any specific angle? No, there's no angle. Just get her done. And if you like, I've got some really crappy blenders. They'll sell you at a really cheap price. You can go home and beat them up and not be self-conscious about ruining your customers. So you can ruin the cheapies I'm giving you. All right. Let's see if they cut. Boom, they cut like butter. It's easier to do it this way. You can see it. Oh, hold on. No, they're not cutting at the very tip. It feels good.
What have you done?
No, I haven't, it's fine. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take the cheater stick at the very tip and go across.
You're on the outside, pulling it toward
On the
edge.
outside, yeah. We do it again. Boom, now it cuts. It was just
You
a
left a
burr.
little bit of burr.
It was just a burr, correct. So,
See how it cuts that fur too.
yeah. All right. Fur, gonna cut, boom. Oh, it doesn't pass this test. So what do we do? What do we do? All right. The first thing I'm gonna do, because we knew it cut before.
They were too quiet.
No, there's no such thing as too quiet. It's just a matter that maybe I put too much of a negative hone on it. So there's two things you can do. You can either edge it, which I'm not going to do. I'm going to lightly put a flat hone on there again because I don't want to take too much of the tooth off. So I'm just going to go back and I guess it really doesn't matter. Just going to go a couple passes.
Doing that on the teeth part?
Yeah, I'm just on the
Okay.
teeth part because it wasn't cutting at the tip. Because I'm thinking maybe I had the negative hone or the ramp maybe was too extreme. So I'm just doing a quick hone. And all that does is it's making that negative ramp a little tighter, a little thinner.
And that time you didn't ramp it, you moved it
I
flat.
did flat
Okay.
because I put a lot of ramp on it before.
Now, did you push burr to the outside now again? We have to.
I haven't done it yet. I'm going to. All right, I'm going to do a little this for the fun of it. I'm going to test it on.
Get used to that.
Huh?
Did you get used to that noise?
This may.
Well, I'm a school teacher, and when the old chalkboards, I like that squeaky noise. Used to really irritate my students.
All right, now,
Okay.
now it's got it.
I think you
Boom,
got
done.
it, huh?
Yep.
And so the difference there was the burr?
It wasn't the burr. It was when I put the negative ramp on there
Yeah.
that it was too thick,
You overdid
Too
it.
negative?
too negative.
Okay.
Or not necessarily too negative, but yeah, but it was too much because you just want a thin line. If it's too much of a, you can see the flat angle, then when you see a negative, if it's too wide, it's not going to cut. It doesn't really matter what the angle is.
You just need a little bit.
Right, and that's why when you put the negative, a lot of times just by edging it will bring it down to make it thinner, but you don't want to edge it too much. So I'm thinking, this time, rather than taking metal away from here, screw it, I'm just going to hone the inside to make it thinner from the hone line up. And I'll explain that later, a little one-on-one, so you can see it. But yeah, now
Now it's quiet.
that feels good.
Let me see if I can spin the rest of the right side.
All right, this one, oof. This is a good one. You know, those are easy because they're nice shears, they're good, or a blender, sorry. And it's these that give you the trouble.